Yeah, Caitlin's amazing. Super amazing. She's a great player. Having her be courtside and watching our games is awesome.
For weeks, the rhythm of the WNBA carried a sharp undertone that fans could feel even when the broadcast tried to smooth it over. The pace felt heavier. The contact looked harsher. Every night Caitlin Clark stepped on the floor, there was an edge in the air that went beyond normal competition.
We see the excitement that she has on the sides, but just like she's doing that, we do the same. Like when they're playing, like it's so much. It's a joy to watch.
Clark absorbed constant physical play, hard bumps in transition, hip checks coming off screens, late contact at the rim, sharp fouls that piled up possession after possession. The league office stayed quiet, avoiding the conversation, and that silence felt louder than any whistle.
I'll probably say Caitlin Clark. I love Tyrese, but she's another level in terms of just the love that she has.
Fans noticed immediately. Social media lit up. Analysts acknowledged it briefly on shows, then moved on. The topic hovered, never fully addressed, never fully dismissed, and that tension became part of every game Clark played. The unspoken message was clear. Handle it yourself. Welcome to the league. That tone lingered longer than expected, stretching week after week until the silence finally cracked. Not because the WNBA stepped in, but because the loudest voices in basketball decided they had seen enough. Stephen Curry spoke. LeBron James followed. Luka Doncic joined in.
I know that you have spoken about Caitlin Clark. You're a big Caitlin Clark fan.
Oh, yeah.
She, of course, is an excellent shooter.
One after another, NBA champions with global platforms weighed in, and that alone shifted the gravity of the conversation. This was not polished praise or media-friendly commentary. It came off as frustration, voiced openly and without filter. The reaction rippled across the sport from Seattle to South Beach, and people paid attention in a way they had not before. NBA players usually keep commentary inside their own ecosystem. A repost here, a subtle nod there, then back to work.
Would you ever do like a Caitlin Trey three-point contest at All-Star?
Of course I would. I've gotten to talk to her too throughout her college years.
Crossing leagues like this is rare, and when it happens, it signals something feels off enough to demand attention. That is why these moments landed so hard. Pascal Siakam pushed it even further during a live television interview. Asked a safe surface-level question about which players were receiving the most love right now, he skipped past a long list of NBA names and pointed directly at Caitlin Clark. He made it clear the level of support surrounding her is impossible to ignore. What mattered most was how he framed it. Siakam did not compare her only to WNBA rookies or players in a separate lane.
I'd have to definitely practice a lot more than I have for these previous three-point competitions. Nah, I'd be ready for sure.
He stacked her next to Tyrese Halliburton, his all-star teammate and one of the league's premier guards, and still placed Clark at the top. That was not sympathy. That was not a promotional nod. It was an honest read of impact, and that kind of recognition carries real weight because it breaks an old barrier.
These girls have been grinding to grow the game of basketball in the WNBA. They've been grinding to grow the sport to the world, the viewerships. They've been grinding for all of this.
Clark is no longer being discussed in a protected category. She is being evaluated on the same scale as elite professionals. That shift signals just how much ground she has covered in an incredibly short amount of time. Obi Toppin added another layer without chasing headlines. He is not known for long speeches or dramatic sound bites. His reputation is built on action, not words, which is exactly why his reaction mattered. It felt natural, unforced, grounded in what players actually see on the floor night after night.
And then you have this girl that comes along from college and is an instant change. She's handed pretty much being the face of the league.
Taken together, these moments show how quickly Clark has changed the conversation. She did not wait for permission. She did not ease into acceptance. Her game forced the issue. The contact, the silence, the response, all of it points to the same truth. Clark pushed past an invisible boundary that once separated leagues and expectations. This is not charity. It is not hype. It is recognition earned through performance. When voices from the highest level speak this clearly, it signals something fundamental has shifted.
Can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence. the flair. Like, she's a performer.
Caitlin Clark is no longer a rookie learning the ropes. She is a focal point reshaping how the entire sport is being discussed, framed, and debated. Trae Young's playful challenge was not internet banter or a throwaway moment. It landed as peer-level recognition, a quiet signal that Clark's release mechanics, confidence, and edge belong on the same bright stage. This was not hype for clicks. It was respect between shooters who understand timing, balance, and nerve under pressure.
If you really watch, like, her floor game is as impressive, so it's kind of the total package.
Fans would pack arenas for that kind of crossover moment, and sponsors already see the upside without needing it spelled out. Paul George took the conversation a step further by zooming out. Instead of leaning into highlight culture, he spoke from the perspective of someone who lived the grind. Years of empty gyms, late nights, low spotlight, a league built piece by piece over decades. Then a rookie arrives and suddenly becomes the face of the movement. That kind of shift hits nerves. It is human. Some players feel pride, others feel pushed aside. George did not dismiss either reaction. He laid out the emotional math of rapid change with honesty and balance. He gave Clark full credit for what she is doing right now, while still respecting the veterans who laid the foundation. And that balance is rare in sports talk. That is why his comments traveled from podcast to podcast and stuck longer than a single news cycle. The same energy surfaced when a reporter lobbed Luka Doncic a simple question about his favorite women's basketball player. Luka did not hesitate or hedge. He went straight to Caitlin Clark. No qualifiers, no safe detours. Coming from someone whose own rise reshaped expectations, that answer carried serious weight. Luka measures greatness by impact, not popularity or potential. He judged Clark on what she is doing right now and placed her at the top. That kind of stripped-down endorsement speaks louder than a long speech. It confirms she is being evaluated on the same scale as elite professionals. What makes this moment tense is not praise. It is contrast. Some stars lean in, others step sideways. That gap creates friction, and friction creates conversation. Clark sits at the center of it all. She is not asking for permission or waiting her turn. Her game forces reactions, and rapid elevation always creates discomfort. The league spent years building slowly, brick by brick, and now the spotlight is moving at warp speed. That acceleration brings opportunity, money, and visibility, but it also brings resentment and quiet resistance. None of that erases Clark's performance. It explains the temperature around it. This attention is not manufactured. It is organic, driven by results, confidence, and execution under pressure. Clark did not arrive as a symbol. She arrived as a problem. Defenses cannot solve, and a story nobody can ignore. That is why comments from Young, George, Doncic, and others matter. They are not cheerleading, they are acknowledgement. When peers at the highest level speak up, it confirms this is not a moment. It is a shift. Stephen Curry made that line unmistakably clear. When Curry speaks on shooting, it is never casual noise. He broke it down with precision. Same release speed, unlimited range, same flair when the moment gets loud. Then he delivered the final layer. She is the full package. Curry's approval is never random. His belief helped turn Klay Thompson into a legend and Jordan Poole into a max contract story. Calling Caitlin Clark a basketball twin is legacy-level recognition. The momentum slowed when Jason Tatum brushed off a women's basketball question with a short answer. Aja Wilson, full stop. No disrespect to Wilson's dominance, but choosing not to reference Clark felt intentional. It read like strategy, not oversight. The same vibe followed when Kevin Durant named Angel Reese as his favorite. Reese is talented, no question, but with Clark rewriting records weekly, the contrast felt pointed. Two major voices stepping sideways instead of forward only tightened the tension. Paul George called this moment early. Not everyone is comfortable with a new order, and that resistance highlights Clark's disruptive force more than praise ever could. Pull back from the debate, and the numbers tell the real story. Games moved into NBA arenas and still sold out. Television ratings jumped more than 400% compared to the previous season. Merchandise vanished instantly. Nike could not keep Iowa gold on shelves. Charter flights were approved mid-season because watching a generational talent wait through airport security became impossible to justify. Sponsors rushed in almost immediately. Brands that had been watching from a safe distance suddenly moved with urgency, locking in deals, activating campaigns, and reshaping their strategies around visibility that could no longer be ignored. Rival players felt the jolt as well, not just in media attention, but in how games were framed, marketed, and talked about. This growth curve is not gradual or patient. It is sharp, sudden, and impossible to smooth out. Greatness never creates neutrality. It splits rooms into belief and pushback every single time. We have seen this pattern before. Ask Michael Jordan how it felt when the league shifted overnight. Ask Serena Williams how dominance invites both praise and resistance. Ask Tiger Woods how disruption changes entire sports. And ask LeBron James how carrying a movement comes with pressure from every angle. The WNBA asked for real conversation for years. It pushed, promoted, and waited for a moment that could break through the noise. Caitlin Clark kicked the door open and dragged the spotlight with her, forcing the conversation into the mainstream. Every cheer, every sold-out arena, and every hard foul reinforced the same truth. This is no longer optional attention. Nobody is indifferent anymore. Fans are choosing sides. Media debates are louder. Players are reacting in real time. That emotional engagement, whether positive or tense, is the fuel the league could never manufacture on its own. The league can improve officiating, expand marketing, and adjust revenue sharing, but passion cannot be engineered. Clark sparked it instantly through performance, confidence, and moments that demanded to be talked about. The challenge now is balance. Protect her health without isolating her. Spotlight the veterans who built the league without dimming the momentum of the present. Spread the storytelling beyond one star, so the entire floor rises with the ceiling instead of cracking under the weight of attention. Charter flights should be for every team. Growth must lift the entire league, not just the Clark wave, because sustainability depends on shared progress, not selective upgrades. The NBA learned this lesson during peak LeBron fatigue. When everything revolved around one player, the pushback grew louder. The WNBA has that blueprint right now, if it chooses to use it wisely. Clark's ceiling is not becoming the women's version of anyone. She is becoming the first Caitlin Clark, a rare blend of shooting gravity, elite vision, and cultural pull that cannot be replicated or manufactured. That mix cannot be copied. Some celebrate it, some resist it. Nobody ignores it, and that is the clearest sign that something fundamental has changed. The quiet era is finished. The heat is real, and the league's future is now locked into her orbit. She is 23 years old with a lightning-fast release, and the league asked for energy and received a full blaze that refuses to dim. Not everyone agrees, and that is exactly the point. Disagreement proves the impact is real. The center moved. Once that happens, there is no rewind. The WNBA is no longer asking for attention. It is demanding it.